So upset over the painting of this historic building. The city of Fort Myers is holding an emergency meeting to see how and why the Richards building ended up like this. You see here from the Wink News drone, the Richards building with a fresh coat of white paint. Wink News anchor Annette Montgomery joins us in studio. Annette, the city says the work was done despite a stop work order.
Yeah, that's right, Amanda and Russ. That stop work order was issued Friday, and even Mayor Kevin Anderson tells me the first time he realized it had been violated was when he saw a picture of the building the next day on Facebook. Now what happens next is left up to the Historic Preservation Commission, but city officials tell me they want to know why the stop work order was ignored.
For some, this white paint being put over this 101-year-old building really boils down to history. For Councilman Liston Boschette, it actually boils down to protocol.
I'm not familiar with a stop work order ever being violated. I know they go out from time to time, but they're usually quite respected. So my question is was it negligence or was it malicious? It's an act of disrespect, but was it intentional or not intentional?
It's a question city officials hope to answer through a series of meetings after a stop work order was put in on Friday, but ignored and still worked on the next day, even catching the city's own mayor off guard until he saw our story on Monday.
I was very disappointed to read that story. I know on Facebook they said code enforcement gave a stop work order on Friday, and my daughter had asked me about it, and I said, well, first of all, I don't know if they did or they didn't. So, before I really comment on the stop work, I have to find out. And I did verify when I returned to town yesterday that there was a stop work order. So, doubly disappointing.
The building is historic, so the Historic Preservation Commission will decide what happens next to the building. But city officials will have some say in what happens if it comes to light that the business owner violated their stop work order.
I don't necessarily like the thought of a historic building being altered to that extent. But if the HPC feels like it's appropriate, then I have no problem with it.
Well, our Historical Preservation Board is really top-notch. They're good people. They've been very lenient in the past, but this might be the straw that breaks their back and says that from now forward, we're applying the rules as the rules.
So what happens next is the owners will go before the HPC and they'll either approve the changes or not. Then they will make a recommendation to code enforcement, and if they are in violation, they will be fined. Now, Mayor Kevin Anderson says it can be a fine per day. Now, Councilman Boschette says there's a second part to this, and that's if they are in violation, it could be considered punishable. Back to you.